back, guys, to Classroom Brew, the podcast that feels a lot like Teacher Happy Hour, where we sit down, have a couple of drinks, or for some of us that are not so wise, we have a shot and then a double for the drink itself. Not the wisest thing, of course. For this episode, we're doing a video podcast, which is available exclusively for people that are on Patreon. Turn my volume down a little bit. It's a little bit better. Sounded like I had a stroke. Didn't, I promise you. So if you are on Patreon, you can get that exclusive content. So a huge shout out to James, to Lish, to Cindy, to Melinda. We have Sabrina, who is new. We have Leo as well. Did I mention Lish? The six of you guys, I really appreciate all the support for the podcast itself. Those of you that are listening in, if you are not watching the video podcast, you can get a Classroom Brew shot glass as well as a Classroom Brew koozie, in addition to the bonus content that is available exclusively for Patreon members. So again, patreon.com/classroombrew. There are 3 different levels. There's a 4th one, but again, don't do the 4th one, please, as a joke. But there are 3 different tiers that have different benefits and things that you can access and unlock. So again, patreon.com/classroombrew. The student series, big update. We did get 1 episode recorded. I'm waiting to do 1, maybe 2 more. Again, we're scaling it back because of the distance learning thing. It's kind of been a different, an interesting time, to say the least. I don't want to say I'm disappointed, but it's not ideal because last year I was able to, scale it up. I did a bunch of stuff on the student series. I had weeks worth, I think over a month's worth of episodes versus this year we've got not as much, but you know what? It is what it is. Also, a shout out, I guess, to Eddie Burback. Wearing the Yikes merch. I guess I'll post like a little thing, but boys supporting boys with the Yikes merch there. So check him out on YouTube. I don't know him personally, but I did see he did a video a while ago where he had a nice little Bears sweatshirt on. I think he was from this area, so got to support a Chicagoan, a fellow Chicagoan, because that's important. And so as I record this one, it's funny because we talk about stuff going on with the end of the school year, and last year I've had a lot of kids coming out of the woodwork every single year, but this year, especially with the digital stuff, I've got kids that are even right now. I'm getting emails and things like that. I'm not responding to an email right now. I'm still getting kids coming out of the woodwork. Some kids that have been in contact constantly, but I'm so tired, and I've got the Classroom app on my phone. I just upgraded phones too. So it's crazy that no matter what, I'm still getting contact from kids that it's like, hey, I haven't done anything all year. You haven't seen me digitally, even though I've confirmed that I have access, but what can I do? So I had to honestly break it to a few kids today, and that kind of stunk. But even I had some kids too that they exceeded their grade from before this whole mess started. So that was cool to give them the good news. Like, hey, you ended with an A, or you ended with whatever the grade was. That was a good feeling. But newer phones, by the way. I had an iPhone 6. Now I have an iPhone 11. And wow, the world has opened up to me again. I didn't realize just how much I was missing. And actually, Cindy was talking about kids coming out of the woodwork. Now that her school year's over, she was saying that she's got people that are still submitting assignments, even though grades have been in, summer keys are probably returned, and she's got kids that are submitting stuff. So I feel like that would happen to me. I did have a kid that I don't know if she was a dropout or if she transferred within the district or left the district, but her account was still active. And the following school year, she marked a bunch of assignments as completed, probably just to get the note. I don't know if there's notifications on the student side, but she marked that as she marked it as completed, which I thought was fun. Literally, we're talking 8 months, 9 months later. If she were teen pregnant, hopefully not, but she'd be having that kid by now. Maybe that was the wake up call. Hope not. Anyways, so I got an email the other day about a PPC or PPLC or LMNOP XYZ QRS TUV, one of those committees in the union that I have no fucking clue about. You might know that people were thinking oh, we should have Ryan be the delegate. And I immediately like made sure that I went to the meeting just for the past 2 years, for the sake of making sure that I wouldn't be nominated. And sure enough, I had to like go and erase my name. Like, no, thank you. I'm out. Same thing for all those committees. But, a few people ask me why I don't usually go to those digital meetings or the in-person meetings. And like, well, one, not on the committee. That's part of it. I'm not going to go if I'm not on the committee. I expect that people that I nominated to, represent me can handle it. But also, I think I can handle the email it reminded me of this because I was watching this old bit from Hannibal Buress where so he goes, why don't I put a napkin? People ask me, why don't I put a napkin on my lap when I eat? And the reason he says, because I believe in myself. Because I believe in myself to not spill on my lap because I'm an adult and I've mastered the food on the plate or bowl to my mouth thing. So I believe in myself. So I guess that's my response. My unofficial, my podcast response is I don't go to the meetings, the digital meetings, just to witness it, because when it comes to their follow-up emails with the meeting minutes and the updates on what they decided on, I believe in myself. Anyway, I'm just going to make sure I'm recording. I think I had a stroke again. Yes, we are recording. Anyway, so we also got these things that, for the love of God, they're these packets that the district came up with. Like, they were supposed to be enrichment packets. Like, when we didn't know how long it would be on, like, this was like for that 2-week span when we were just closed and we thought we'd come back. And it was just supposed to be enrichment packets to keep kids, like, engaged and give them something to do. And we've been told more recently that those have to be accepted for credit in our class. Now, I looked at them, by the way. Actually, good thing I got this new upgraded phone with the whole Face ID thing, by the way. That's cool. Unlocked it with barely any effort. So I looked at some of the stuff that they had them do. Because, I'm skeptical. Like, is this really going to... I think I have higher standards in our district, which isn't saying much, but I do have higher standards. But, like, some of it was like, make a March Madness bracket with whatever you want. Like, okay. So, like, this kid did it on, like, favorite movies. And then it got more specific. And I thought, like, well, maybe it's just a way to help them relate to the content. But it ends there. That's all it is. It doesn't go any further. Then I scrolled ahead and it was like, there was this, like, lengthy article about, like, voting and things like that. And I was like, okay, this is good at least for the civics component or social studies component. Whatever it may be. But then it just ends with, like, there's, like, 2 or 3, like, yes or no questions. They might as well have just been like, did you read it? And, like, anyone could say, yeah, I read it. Do I hear music in the background from a neighbor that's being an asshole with his car? Oh, just like the big rims on your fucking lift kit truck. You've got to blast your subwoofers, like Jesus Christ, compensating for something, am I right? Like, all this stuff. Or, like, one of them is, like, interview somebody, and, like, they wrote down yes or no answers to everything. Like, I'm not accepting this. Come at me, district. This one's like, what shape does this make? And it's a heart. Like, all you had to do was shade it in. Oh my God. Like, I guess they were at least, okay, they're doing the area of the shape. That's good. And the little pieces, the components that make up the bigger shape. So I guess there's some math stuff on here. But in terms of, like, anything else, like English, social studies, science, there's nothing. And we're supposed to accept this bullshit that we didn't make? Oh, God. So I guess I might have to fight that one. Depending on who the kid is. Like, if it's a kid that was going to pass anyway, like, all right. But if it's someone that hasn't done anything all year, whether it was digital or in person, we got a different story to talk about. There's some kids, by the way, that have really shined during this. I didn't expect to. Not to be, like, negative or self-fulfilling prophecy, but there are some kids that I was like, wow, they really actually, maybe this is the format that works for them. Some of them I thought, like, you might be better to do this online instead of with a teacher, because you don't get along with anybody, including the teacher. You don't like even the simplest rules is don't yell across the room, fuck you, and stuff like that. Anyway, but we were talking about, like, those kids that have, like, those moments or whatever. And there's the phrase of the shit sandwich, like, you have one shitty thing in the middle, but you sandwich it in between 2 good things. And there's some that, not to be too negative, but they're kind of like a flipped shit sandwich where it's like they have a few good moments, but just like layers and layers and layers of stale, crunchy, disgusting bread. That's the shit part, right? So it's hard to see those little moments. I'm trying to see those moments. So that's the thing, is that, like, even though for the most part, some students, and I have a few in my head right now that I'm thinking of, they did not have a good high school career, or they're not having a good high school career, mostly based on, for some of them, yes, they have some certain circumstances and stuff. Remember, we're trying to take the lighthearted side. We're not trying to like minimize the experience they're going through or the trauma they're going through. Of course, that is prevalent for some kids, but for some of the other kids, we have some where it's like you're making bad choices, but you've got everything in place that you could ever possibly want, like supportive family, things like that. Plenty of things in place, even if they're like, at least that we don't know about a history of trauma, things like that. Like everything's in place. And it's really hard to see the good with all those layers of shitty, stale sandwich bread. You know what I mean? I think we've all got a few students where it's like, it's really hard to see. I'm trying my best to try to see the light. But at the same time, I think I should get credit, executive producer credit, on some of the kids over the past 3 to 4 years on their high school diploma. Like their name should be on it, right? Because they went through the motions. But I feel like I should get some sort of credit. Maybe not executive producer, but producer. Because I swear there's some kids I'm dragging them along, pushing them along, or their parents are dragging and pushing. Like, give me something. Like the amount of high school degrees that I've gotten, I guess, is way more than just the one that I got back in 2011 when I graduated high school. Because I'm really going through the motions and dragging these kids along as we go through. That's just a thought that I had. So the flipped shit sandwich. Wow, look at that. We're still going. I guess the last little thing I had, and I want to start, once we start getting guests going again, I want to do some of these what kind of teacher are you things. And here's the cool thing is that, now that I have a phone that actually like works, like completely, it doesn't crash when I get a phone call, but I was playing music before the phone call came, I can actually pull these things up on my phone, so I don't need my laptop, which is a lot better. But I found this one. This was not sent to me. It was kind of like 2 weeks ago's quiz, rather, of like, what kind of teacher are you, based on these questions about who you were as a student. Gotta chew on some ice, sorry. But I like this one because this one was, which teacher from pop culture are you? And there's a bunch of different questions. I did read the first question. I didn't read the answers, but I just clicked on it to make sure it could work on my phone. And it looks like if I accidentally select an answer, that's the answer. You can't switch your answer afterwards. You can't go back. So we'll have to be really careful as we scroll through on this thing. By the way, this phone is so much bigger than the iPhone 6. I'm a pocket carrier, so this is going to be a big adjustment for me. There we go. The stand better. So a few different questions, and then we'll read through some of the responses. So your student asks you if they can go to the bathroom in the middle of a lesson. Your response to the student that wants to go to the bathroom: make them get the hall pass that is attached to a comically large pencil. Interesting. Tell them to put their hand down and go to the bathroom whenever they need. Sign a quick hall pass for them. When they have to go, they have to go. I get that. This wouldn't happen in my class. Students know that's what passing periods are for. Wave them out of class without stopping your lesson for more than 1 second. Or, I don't know, can you? Asshole. Yeah, my thing, I do write a pass. Like if a kid's out with a pass and there's an emergency, like let's be real, I'm a male teacher. If a female student says I've got an emergency, I'm going to write you one. Okay. Yeah, I would go with I don't have a comically large pencil, but I, just a quick point to the hall pass that we have. That's, one out at a time, that kind of thing. All right. Your opinion on field trips is, I love field trips. I do them all the time. They're a waste of valuable learning time. No. Love them. So glad to get, hands-on experiences? Yes. Let's just read the other responses, but that's probably what I'm going to go with, is that I love them. They're a huge hassle with little payoff, but if it makes my students happy, I will do them. It gets me out of school, so they're fine by me. I like showing off my knowledge of my subject area to my students. They're a good time to socialize with other teachers and parents. I'm going to go with I guess they are good for other teachers and parents, but parents don't come because they don't chaperone because they live in a district where they don't care as much. Anyways, it's the end of the year and your student gives you a thank you. Should I read this like a voiceover? It's the end of the year and your student gives you a thank you gift. Fucked it up. What are you hoping is inside the package? Chocolate. Ack. What? 100 number 2 pencils. A $50 gift card to a craft/stationery store. Well, I can't take it. It's over, what, like $1? That's like the rule or whatever. A $25 gift card to Target. A letter talking about how my class changed their life. A cute knickknack for my desk. I do like knickknacks. I have a wacky waving inflatable tube guy for my desk. Not a big candy person. I'm not going to go with the one for the stationery store, obviously. And I'm not going to go with the one for Target because I'm not a big Target person like every other teacher is. But also, I'm not going to go with Target because it says $25 gift card, and I think the limit is seriously like $5 for gifts. I'm going to go with a letter talking about how my class has changed their life. I have gotten a few kids that actually, maybe not the class itself, but like the influence, which like it makes me feel good. One student in particular wrote like a very nice comment because for my seniors especially, I wrote like a nice little, especially if I had them more than once, a little like send-off note. Because normally I'd have that quick little conversation with them before like their last day's over, but we can't really because we're socially distancing and we're not doing school. We're doing distance learning, which sucks. Anyways, which of these would you be most likely caught doing on the weekend? Protesting at a rally. Shout out to the protesters. Working a second job. Those bills have to pay themselves somehow. Taking some online courses to become a better teacher. Fuck you. You assume we're not already the best, whatever. Kidding. Brunching with my teacher BFFs. Sleeping in, finally. Grading late into Sunday night. I have a second job with the voiceover, but I don't know if you'd be like caught doing that. Sleeping in, finally. Now, a little caveat. Sleeping in for me is like 8 a.m., 8:45, maybe 9 a.m. if I'm, feeling like I had an episode recording, that kind of thing. What do you do when you get home after school? Die. Catch up on the news I missed at school. Worry about my students. Yeah. Work a bit on my teacher certification. What? I'm already certified. No. Go out to coffee or drinks with fellow educators. How about just coffee or drinks, mostly drinks, with anybody? Spend some quality time with my family or prepare dinner and do some grading. I'm going to I usually go to the gym to decompress, but at the same time, I'm either angry or frustrated about something or worried about something, so I'm going to go with worry about my students. All right, remember, we're doing this whole quiz to figure out what pop culture teacher I am, and I don't know what the scope of the options are. Like, Mr. Feeney's probably an option. Hopefully Cameron Diaz isn't one. I mean, there are probably some options that could get you that. From Bad Teacher, if you didn't get that reference. Too quick for it? Yeah. Where is your favorite place to get your education information? That's very, like, education information. All right. Neat Today. I guess that's this site. Nice. Google is my best friend. The latest teaching journal, teacher blogs. Always checking out Pinterest for free lesson plan. Should be plans. Unless it was, nope. They just fucked it up. Education Week. I'm going to go with Google. It's kind of like Teachers in the News with Devin Siebold. You win $5,000. What do you do with it? Is student loans a thing? It is an option. Donate it to politicians who are pro-public education. No, because there's none of them, because they're all liars. Pay down my student loans. Use it to pay for a summer professional development course. No. Never. Pay me for it. I'm not paying you for it. Put it back into my classroom. No. Just put it in my savings. Home ownership. Here I come. Ideally, that's what I would do. Or buy a new teacher wardrobe. Honestly, if I got $5,000 right now, tax-free, pay down my student loans. So who did I get? The fuck is Mr. Cooper? You're Mr. Cooper from Hanging with Mr. Cooper. What is that? Those kids just won your heart over. Now you prefer to spend your weekends lesson planning? Nope. And worrying about keeping your students engaged? Okay, I get it. Mr. Cooper. Oh, I can screenshot without the home button because there is no home button on this phone. Let me just get that. I got to figure out what Mr. Cooper's all about. I don't know if you guys have, like, we're going off book here. We're just going to look something up. Mr. Cooper, full episode. Oh, this is an actual thing. Hanging with Mr. Cooper, season 1, episode 1. How old is this? Oh, this is my vibe, I guess.
Hi, honey, I'm home.
Who the? Oh, of course, it's Canned Laughter. Is there like a scene where he's doing teacher stuff? That's what I should find, is when he's actually being a teacher. It doesn't seem like it, but it's got some 80s, 90s vibes. So I guess, does that mean I'm 80s? I guess it works for the background if you're you're on a Patreon member and you're watching the video podcast, because we have a very 90s looking background right now, which was voted for by the mixed drink level tier. Okay, here he's in the classroom.
You were in prison?
Oh, that's the vibe I get?
There, didn't I?
Oh, okay, he's not in
Have a
prison.
seat, relax.
It's cool. It's cool. I remember I used to drive.
He's got the C-shaped classroom. Ooh.
My name is Mr. Cooper.
Oh, this is day 1. Yeah, of course. Episode 1, day 1.
Can't we just call you Coop? Didn't I just write Mr. Cooper on the board?
Yeah, man. Didn't you read? Oh, he erases it and he goes with Coop. It looks like Loop because of his handwriting. Well, let's see. I don't know. Obviously, this is... Maybe I should check this out. Hang on, Mr. Cooper. If you guys have seen it, let me know if it's worth it. There's a whole... Oh, I think every episode's on YouTube. Season 5, episode 11. I'm just trying to get a feel for his teacher persona vibe. Like, clearly it's a comedy. Big fan of Fresh Prince, so that's the only sitcom that's acceptable to me. Maybe Everybody Loves Raymond, but that's about it. But that's the only one that's acceptable, so maybe this would be one that I should try out. I didn't see him in the class. I skipped around. I did the fast forward when he double tap. I didn't see anything. Traffic School Days? No, that's Jamie Foxx. Oop. Hang on, Mr. Cooper. Remember comedian Mark Curry? Sadly, this is what happened to him. Oh, geez. This is foreshadowing. I'm going to have to check that out. If you check this out, it's Hanging with Mr. Cooper. Is there like a description of like how long it was on? Hanging with the Hamiltons, with friends, hanging with my peeps. Nope. Hanging with Mr. Cooper. There's a theme and everything. We heard it moments ago. Oh, it's got a good score. Former NBA player Mark Cooper becomes a dedicated teacher and basketball coach in Oakland after his playing career ends. I got to tell you, I didn't really have a playing career, though, as professional at least. When he's not dealing with his students and players, Mark spends time with his gorgeous female roommate, who he eventually starts dating, and other friends. Interesting. Oh, it was on for 5 years. September 22nd, 1992, assuming this is right, to August 30th, 1997. Interesting. 5 full seasons, 101 episodes. It sounds like it was a success. Like, is there like... I'm on Wikipedia right now. Usually there's like a reception section. Synopsis, production, syndication. All right. Last of the fall, blah, 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 blah. Nickelodeon's teen-oriented programming block. Ugh. Teen Nick. Oh, God. It's on Hulu. Great. We'll have to give it a shot. So maybe I'll do a thing at my takeaways of how I'm like Mr. Cooper. I took a screenshot, luckily. So if you guys want to do that, you can also call in, too. I'd be more than happy to have you on to see what kind of pop culture teacher you are, or which teacher from pop culture you are. But thank you guys so much for this. That's pretty much it for this week. Thanks for listening. Hopefully you guys are on summer break. By the time this comes out, I will for sure be on summer break. But as I record this, I still have technically Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Yes. So I've still got less than a week to go, but by the time the episode's out, it will be over. I only say that because distance learning sucks. Can't wait to start next year with distance learning. If you want to check out patreon.com/classroombrew, you can get access to this video episode. There's also other bonus content like behind the scenes stuff. Some little bits that I also do as well. A little look into the life of behind the scenes of the podcast and voiceover stuff. Just a bunch of different stuff on there. A lot of video stuff. There's even polls so you can vote on the background that we have for the CGI element of the podcast itself. You can, of course, check out that with the video podcasts. And you can get your own Classroom Brew koozie or Classroom Brew shot glass. So patreon.com/classroombrew. I do like to write a little handwritten note along with the koozie because I really do appreciate the support that you guys have for the show. especially when you reach out and things like that. So I really like giving like polls and giving you guys a say in what happens on the show and whatnot. I guess I could do like a vote on the drink that I do at some point for a poll. That'd be a good one, right? You can guess what I'm drinking as usual. Easier for the video people. We could do that. See if you can guess what he had to drink, and then the winner gets a thing. I don't know. Yeah, rate and review on whatever app you're listening in, especially Apple Podcasts. We've got some collabs coming up. We've got the student series coming up, which will be different this year, but we'll do our best. You can reach me at Classroom Brew on social media, mostly Instagram, but there is a Twitter as well. It's the same handle. You can check out Podchaser if you want to see what other podcasts I've been on. I think I've done 7, 8, 9 other podcasts. So you can see other appearances, and it links you right to the episode. So Podchaser, check Ryan Michael or Mr. F, whichever is easiest. Yeah, that should be the easiest way. You can email me to classroombrew@gmail.com. So hope to hear from you guys. Hope you guys are doing well, staying safe, staying healthy. But until next week, class dismissed.